I share kids shining from its top 55.
Fix a little technical glitch with our live stream. I think we are online and live now. And so we'll turn together. Page 12, the Hunderanana, come let us sing joyously together. Continue on page 20 as we welcome Shabbat and our Shabbat bride with Lakad Yodim. Please be seated as we continue with Ms. Morshir, the Yom HaShabbat, a song for Shabbat, page 22. And on page 24, we join in Shalom Aleichem, those words of greeting, those words of blessing of peace for us all. Together we turn to page 26 as we rise for Chatzit Kaddish. And our key can be found page 28. Seated and continue with Ma'arif Arabim on page 30. Baruch atah Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'dvaro ma'arif arabim v'chokhmah potach sha'arim ובזמונם משנה אישים ומחליט את הערבים ומסדר את הכוכבים ומשמרותיהם ברקיע ברצונם ועולה דום בלילה ועולה אור לפני חושך וחושך לפני אור ומעביר יום לפני לילה ומעביר בין יום ובין לילה אדוני צבאות שמעון והחי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד Continue to 33. Wisdom and wonder, action and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai. Okay, Tamor, Yisrael. We rise together and work them out. You see that as we continue on page 36 with
Please help your cheek like that. I don't know. Everyone says, yeah, maybe never gets me trying. Maybe God's not never be. I need rather than
Page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot. That wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt. That there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness. That there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. And so we join in our Song of Freedom, page 40, Yichamocha. מלכות הקהל ובניך בוקי יום לפני משה ומרים. זה אלינו ואמרו אדוני אלוה לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב ולא מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Page 43. Let's join together at the top of the table. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good hands, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may find peace and rise up waiting to do your work. We turn together to page 45. We are a people in whom the past endures, and whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. And we thank God for the blessing of Shabbat as we join in the Shama. Turn together to page 46 as we rise for God. And we pray as if everything depended on God and act as if everything depended on us. Adonai Siffatai Tikta, Lucia Hita, Adonai, open our lips, that our mouth may declare your praise.
Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'konei Hakol V'zocher Chazdei Avot V'imahot U'mevig Ula Livnei V'neihem Leman Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer Moshia Umakain, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Bezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Atah Lehoshia, Mashiv HaRuach Umorid HaGashem, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Berofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Nichamocha Kevurot, Umidom Elach, Melech Meimit Umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'neman Atal HaChayot HaKol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechaye HaKol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, kadoshim b'chol yom yahalu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
Please be seated as we continue page 53. Days pass and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see wherever we gaze, that the bush burns unconsumed, and we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place? We did not know. Baruch atah
Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Page 55. And let's join together at the top of the page.
May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Page 57. Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu ba'amcha Yisrael, ever present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer. Wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands, you are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence. Baruch atah Adonai,
She'odcha levadcha be'yira na'avod.
Page 59. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our life within, for the world around us, so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks.
Baruch atah Adonai, atov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot.
Let's join our prayer for peace, at the very top of page 61. Grant us peace, your most precious gift,
O the eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata melech Adon lecho hashalom. Ki ata melech Adon lecho hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael mechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam.
We take some moments for silent prayer.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי להגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי אדוני צורי וגואלי
We turn together to page 264. I know it's a curveball. But here on page 264 is the Hanukkah inclusion for our service. Begins with the words Al Hanisim, Ba'al HaFurkan, Ba'al HaGvurot, Ba'al HaTshuvot, Ba'al HaMilchamot, Sha'asita Lavotenu Ve'imotenu Bayamim Hahem Bazman Hazeh. And together, we thank you for the miracles,
the redemption, the mighty deeds and saving acts brought about by you, and for the wars which you waged for our ancestors in the days of old at this season.
In the days of the Hashmoneans, Mattatyahu ben Yochanan, the high priest, and his children, when the evil government of Greece rose up against your people Israel to make them forget your Torah and to make them leave the laws of your will in your great mercy, you rose up with them in their time of trouble and fought in their fight, judged their cause just. You delivered the mighty into the hand of the weak, the many into the hands of the few, the unclean into the hands of the pure, the evil into the hands of the righteous, and the arrogant into the hands of those who engage in your Torah. For you made a great and holy name in your world, and for your people Israel you brought about the great triumph and redemption on that very day. And when your children came to the Holy of Holies, and emptied your temple, and purified your holy place, and lit candles in your holy courts, and established these 8 days of Hanukkah, grateful to acknowledge and to praise your great name. What's missing from that description of Hanukkah? What haven't we talked about in this little paragraph that talks about the military victory, the might of the few, conquering the might of the many, and all of that? And what's missing?
The miracle.
The oil. The oil. Because that was a miracle that was the sequel, if you will. That was a miracle that was sort of added later in terms of the sort of celebration. So in fact, the miracle of the oil only happens to appear about 400 something years later in a text of Talmud, in the section of Talmud called Shabbat. And it talks about the candles and lighting candles. And, the questions become, why do we shift from this text, which is about military victory and standing up for identity and wanting to continue to be who we are and be able to celebrate Jewish life as we see fit, and we shift that victory into the miracle of this little jar of oil that we find that lasts for 8 days instead of lasting for 1 day. Why do we shift? What's the difference between where we were living and how we were living in 164 or 163 BCE? How are we living in 163 BCE? Who is in charge?
Somebody else.
No. Well, they were, and then we threw them out. Right, so when we threw them out, who was in charge? We were, right? We were. We were the ruling experience and we controlled the entire country, et cetera, et cetera. How do we live in the year 400 or so of the Common Era? What's happened in between?
Somebody else is in charge.
Somebody else is in charge. Very good. Right? Rome has destroyed the temple in the year 70. We have dispersed all over the place. We are all now living under other foreign rulers. How popular would it be to have a celebration under which you overthrew your foreign ruler? Not so popular. And so we shift the miracle. The miracle shifts from this military focus to a focus on this jar of oil, which does not appear in the text of the book of Maccabees at all, and it only starts appearing in the Talmud. And then we add to that when we say the blessing that says, what does the blessing for the Hanukkah candle say?
Miracle.
Right, the miracles. Good, miracles. And what else does it say? That God commands us to light the Hanukkah candles. Where? And here you go to a rabbi two-step, where the Talmudic rabbis say, any of the rabbinic rules have the weight and force of a Torah or biblical rule, and therefore God commands it just as equally. It's called Minhag Avot Kahalachahi. The customs, the practices of the ancestors have the weight and force of Jewish law. And so the blessing that we say for lighting our Hanukkah candles is the same as Shabbat or any of the other mitzvot that we might find in the actual biblical text. So, as we continue to celebrate Hanukkah, we light our candles, remembering that we light the newest candle first. So whatever the newest candle is, we light that one first, and then we work our way back. And we add the candles from right to left, and we light them left to right. Okay. Great. Good. Now we'll continue and turn together to page 283. No, sorry. No.
253.
253, rather. As we think of all those in our lives who need a blessing of healing. Healing can come in and for so many reasons. Healing of hope, healing of our bodies, healing of our hearts, our minds, our souls. And so we pray for healing for all those who wish and desire and need. And in our congregation, we especially mention Ross McCullough, Eric Shabetta, Stephanie Willis, Alicia Leopold, Louis Tannenbaum, Carol Ford, Allie Ford, Darlene Wodarski, Jan Mendel, Doug Botner, Melanie Wood, Herb Willis, Alana Bennett, Hani Alajah, Philip Zaks, Rabbi Brad Lego, Marsha Koblitz, Barbara Shapira, Darlene Sharp, Zachary Solomon, Paul Perry, and Nancy Thompson. If you are joining us via live stream and you would like to add a name, please add the name into our chat. And if you are here in person and would like to add a name, please, as I look around.
Excited development.
We join together in the middle of page 253.
Visheberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Nisheberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
So of course, there's this old joke about Hanukkah. Kind of goes this way. Two people are talking and one says to the other, how do you spell Hanukkah? The friend replies, well, it depends. Are you using traditional Hebrew spelling, Yiddish transliteration, English? The man says, English. Ah, his friend thinks for a moment and says, in that case, how you are spelling Hanukkah? W-R-O-N-G. Wrong. There is so much confusion on how Hanukkah gets spelled. And it's kind of an interesting sort of message because we're reminded really of the deeper message of Hanukkah, which is this sense of clarity, the idea that Hanukkah encourages us to seek the light, to find the light in the midst of the darkness. And this week, we are also in the middle of the Torah section known as Parshat Miketz, which is a perfect example of somebody who does exactly that, finds the light in the middle of the darkness. It is the story of Joseph having ended up in Egypt and how he finds his way through the darkness of imprisonment in Egypt and to the light of a significant place in Egyptian hierarchy. Miketz picks up the story with Joseph, and he is in Pharaoh's court, and he's busy once again, as he has before, interpreting dreams. And at the time, he's had a rough start in Egypt. He's ended up in, he's been sold into slavery, he's been accused, he's been imprisoned. It's not been a good vacation. The Yelp rating for Egypt just went way down. And so when Pharaoh calls on Joseph, not Pharaoh calling on Joseph? Okay. Sorry. Joseph, doesn't really describe all of his plans, but he says to Pharaoh, here's some ideas, here's some clarity, here's some wisdom. And of course, what does he tell Pharaoh? We're going to have two periods. We're going to have a period of 7 years of lots to eat, followed by 7 years of famine. And so let's save up so that we can get ourselves through the second period by conserving food in the first. So Hanukkah too is about bringing this light into dark periods. The Maccabees, faced with oppression and assimilation challenges, didn't despair. They fought. They fought back for their right to be who they are, for their Jewish rights. And when they found at the very end, and perhaps it happened, and we don't know if it did or not, but at the very end, they found that little jar of oil that was enough to light that Hanukkah, that menorah rather, not the Hanukkah, because that didn't exist yet, but the menorah, the 7-branch candelabra. What did they do? They had two choices, right? They could have said, oh, let's save it. No. We have it, let's use it. Let's light our lights when we can. And they lit those lights. Joseph interprets Pharaoh's dreams and goes through this whole 7 years and back and forth. And the Maccabees too did the whole thing. They too used what they had, what they needed in that first day. And miraculously, there was enough to last 8 days. So we're often faced with those kinds of circumstances, right? We're often faced with choices of, do we do something because we have an opportunity to do it? Or do we say, oh, let's wait. Maybe we shouldn't do that just now. Maybe we should hold on. Maybe we don't have the right money. Maybe it's not the right time. Maybe, who knows? But sometimes you have to be the Maccabee. Sometimes you have to jump in like the Maccabee and do those things so that you can enjoy, you can experience the things that we can and should be doing. So each night of Hanukkah, we add a candle, right? We add a candle to our Hanukkah. We enliven or enlighten our lives through these candles. And as we light these candles during Hanukkah, we remember that it's not only about commemorating these miracles of the military victory and the Maccabees, but also about creating our own miracles in our own lives. The lives of people like Joseph and the Maccabees were challenged in profound ways. Thank God our lives aren't that complicated, we hope. But we still take the message from them. And taking the message of standing up for what we believe, taking that risk, and lighting those lights. So I wish you all a wonderful, wonderful Hanukkah, a Hanukkah enlightened and brightened with all of our lights. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
And we'll continue with Aleinu, page 282. Please rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol hateit gedula leyotzeh breshit shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot velo samanu kamishpachot ha'adama shelo sam chelkeinu kahem v'gor aleinu kecho hamonam v'anachnu korim ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים הוא אלוהינו אין עוד אמת מלכנו וזולתו ככתוב בתורתו וידעת היום בהשבות אל לבבך כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל והארץ מתחת עינות ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Please be seated as we continue page 293. Our thoughts turn now to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. And on this Shabbat, we observe yahrzeit for Martin Sender, Sari Finkelfor, Michael Lipsitz, Jacob J. Myers, Simon Leffler, Isaac Setter, Millie Mayer, Eleanor Pless, Peter Baker, Pauline Schaffner, Gilbert Cholin Sr., Minnie Schuster Morris, David Joel Mandel, Daniel Jacob Rubin, and Solomon Auerheim. If you are joining us via live stream and you would like to add a name, please add a name into our chat. If anybody here in person would like to add a name, please do so. We turn together to the words of Kaddish on page 294 as we rise.
Gadal b'lit kadash shnei rabah. Ve'alma tivarach irutei ve'amlich malchutei. V'chayechon uvyol nechon. V'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. V'avala u'bizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shnei rabah mivarach. Ve'olam u'almei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. Yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shenei d'kudsha barichu. Ve'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. D'kushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'alma ve'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'imru. Amen.
May the one who grants peace in the high and distant heights grant peace for us, for all Israel, for all the world. Together we say.
Amen.
And we're going to conclude this evening with
You wanted to do reflections on the dreidel, right? You wanted to do dreidel,
Sure.
right?
Okay, have a seat. So this is one that you all know, but we need your help a little bit if we make up some verses.
Keep in mind, I've worked a full week, so bear with me as I try to come up with rhymes.
Well, that sounds good.
I have a little dreidel, I made it out of clay. And when it's dry and ready, oh dreidel I shall play. Oh dreidel, 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 I made it out of clay. And when it's dry and ready, oh dreidel I shall play.
Okay, what do you got? You have to get two. What it's made out of and what it's doing. So like would and could, or, something like that. Last and never mind.
Oy.
What do you got? Wood? Let's do wood.
I have a little dreidel, I made it out of wood.
When
And
I
I-
do it, spin it. I spin it though I could. Dreidel, dreidel, dreidel.
And when it's dry and ready, oh dreidel I shall play.
Okay. The bachelor. We have a few announcements. First of all, this service this evening is dedicated in memory of David Joel Mandel and in appreciation of Kenneth Zacks. And we have a baby naming tomorrow morning. So we have a 10 o'clock service with Kiddush lunch to follow. Note 11 o'clock Torah study. but we'll have a nice Shabbat morning service with baby naming of Eliana Renee Bell, who is, of course, Abby and Seth Bell's daughter and the granddaughter of Jackie and Bob Breakster. This week is going to be busy. We have a Friday Night Live meeting on the 7th. So our Friday Night Live Shabbat participant group is starting to meet. Chris Haas is leading that up, and so we'll meet together on the 7th at 7 o'clock. Hope everybody can be there. And of course, we have Danielle Spry's rescheduled bat mitzvah for the 11th. And then we have movie night again on the 16th with a wonderful, wonderful movie. It's called Between the Temples. It's a great play on words, right? It's this kind of cerebral, sort of thought-provoking movie, but it is also one of this sort of religious sort of conundrum. Yes, the rabbits in that movie is something special to see. Portland said she wanted to grow up to be just like. Then there are other things happening throughout the week, and we hope that you will join us for different things as we go through the calendar. Please check your emails, and the calendar online is full of lots and lots of great sources of information. So with that, let's join together. Following our service, we have a little Hanukkah treat. We have some latkes that we are heating up, and so we'll have those just in the hallway there. Craig is helping us out with that, so thank you, Craig. I talked about earlier, finishing them up, and so let's join our lessons, our kiddush and Moses.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'yahava u'ratzon hinchilanu. Zikaron lemase bereshit, ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh, zecher letziat Mitzrayim, ki vanu v'charta ve'otanu kidashta mikol V'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava u'b'ratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai v'kadesh ha'shabbat. Amen. Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. Please join us for a Hanukkah latke and a little Shabbat shmooze.
What time do you want me to tomorrow morning? And just a regular Saturday?
Yeah,
morning?
let's start it real quick for our service.
Okay. Sounds good.
Not-
All right, I'll be.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of running around the US right now.
Yeah.